Latin 2, Chapter 6, Latin for the New Millennium, Level 2, 2nd edition, Exercise 4, page 115, Comparative and Superlative Adverbs. Here's what Exercise 4 looks like. In it, the instructions say, write the comparative and superlative adverbs of the following adjectives. Translate each adverb. So we start with the example of fortis, and the comparative adverb is fortius. You may remember that the comparative adverb looks just like the neuter of the comparative adjective. The comparative adjective of fortis is forti or fortius. So fortius, the neuter form, is used for the comparative adverb, and it means more, to, or rather bravely. Usually the comparative adverb will mean more bravely, but do remember the comparative in Latin, unlike in English, can also mean to or rather. But more is the one you should really remember. Fortissime is a superlative adverb. That is just the superlative adjective fortissimus from this adjective with the ending a instead of us. So fortissime means most or very bravely. In this case, the translation very is very common for the superlative. In fact, the superlative is probably the most common way that Latin expresses the idea of very. So it's quite common in Latin that a superlative is translated with very rather than most or with an est ending. Let's try doing these now. Number one is tutus. The comparative adjective is tutior, tutius. So tutius will be the comparative adverb. And since tutus means safe, tutius, which is the comparative adverb, will mean more or rather or to safely. Tutus has a superlative adjective, tutissimus. To make that into an adverb, just turn the us into a and you get tutissime. And tutissime means most or very safely. Tristis is a word that means sad. It's actually tristis, triste. And its comparative form is going to be tristior, tristius. And that tristius is going to double as the comparative adverb. So tristius is how you say more or rather or too sadly. The superlative is tristissimus. And of course the adverb is then going to be tristissime. Change the us to an a, and that means most or very sadly. Vehemens, vehementus means strong or vehement, and the comparative adjective is vehementior, vehementius. So vehementius is going to be the comparative adverb, and that's going to mean more, rather, or too strongly. Again, this is strong not in the sense of like physical strength, but this is strong in the sense of intensity or harshness, like a vehement anger or a vehement dislike or a vehement speech. It's not about like physical strength. The superlative is going to be vehementissime, which is just the superlative adjective vehementissimus with an a ending instead, and that means most, very, or strongly. Pulcher. The comparative adjective is pulchrior, pulchrius. And the pulchrius will double as the comparative adverb, and that's what we have here, pulchrius, and that means more or rather or too prettily, because pulcher means pretty. And the superlative is pulcherrimi, which means most or very prettily. It's from the superlative form pulcherrimus. Remember, adjectives that end in er add rimus to the masculine nominative singular form to form the superlative. They're exceptional. So pulcherrimus is the superlative, and the superlative adverb is going to be pulcherrime, most or very prettily. Levius means light, and the comparative adjective will be levior, levius, and the levius, which is the neuter form of levior, levius, doubles as the comparative adverb. And so levius is the comparative adverb, and it means more or rather or too lightly. Levissime will be the superlative adverb from levissimus, which is a superlative adjective from levis, and it means most or very lightly. Dulcus means sweet, and actually the full adjective is dulcis dulce. It's a third declension adjective of two endings in the nominative. And the comparative is going to be dulcior, dulcius. And again, dulcius, the neuter form, is going to serve as the comparative adverb. So dulcius means more or rather or too sweetly. Dulcissime means most or very sweetly. It is the superlative adverb from the superlative adjective dulcissimus, which is the superlative form of dulcis. And finally, acer. Acer is a word that means keen or fierce. Its root meaning is sharp, but it means keen or fierce. In other words, someone who's very harsh. And the comparative form is going to be acrior acrius of this adjective. You may remember the word is acer, acris, acre. So the stem is acer, and the comparative is going to be based on that stem, and it's going to be acrior acrius. And that acrius form is going to double as the comparative adverb, and so we get acrius, more or rather or too keenly. The superlative is going to be acerrime, most or very keenly. Again, because this adjective ends in er, the superlative is acerrimus, acerrimus. Change that us to a long e and you get the superlative adverb acerrime, which means most or very keenly. The end. Thank you very much.